What do you say when he talked about that he's going to probably finish Dustin in 60 seconds?
Yeah, I don't believe it. But, I think that's part of, he really hasn't gone after Dustin. You think of everything that happened and all of that talk and everything that he, went on in that first matchup. He made it to where Dustin wanted to come after him. And so 60 seconds, and he starts putting that out and saying, hey, I'm going to finish him in 60 seconds. He's kind of trying to make Dustin be dictated a certain way. Either I'm going to move around for 60 seconds just to make you look like, see, told you,
Yeah.
Or you're going to go try to put it on him hard in that 60 seconds. There's a lot of ways of, going after it, but predictions are, as far as time and fights, I never take them seriously. It really doesn't matter. There's no doubt in my mind. He's done it once. He's knocked out, Dustin once. It's hard. It's hard to get that out of your head.
Yeah.
When you're Dustin Poirier, when you're the fighter and you've gotten, you got knocked out by someone, it's always there. And you're telling yourself, hey, it's not going to happen again, but it's still there. You know it happened. And so you can be tentative in your approach based upon, I don't want that to happen again, which then takes away what makes you who you are. And Dustin has to let it go. The one thing that I will tell you, if you go back and you watch that first fight, a lot of southpaws, being that Dustin is a southpaw and Conor is a southpaw, which is something you don't see a lot, really. A lot of southpaws don't do well against another southpaw. They are so used to, competing and training with guys that are, orthodox stance, that even when they go against another southpaw, it's a little awkward for him. Conor doesn't have that awkward feel. You watch how he cuts off, Dustin in that fight, what he does with his footwork and how he keeps the range. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got that down, and Dustin's the one that's got to figure out the key to change that part of the fight that becomes a problem for Conor instead of being a strength.
Yeah, we just watched the fight right now while you were talking, and I gotta tell you, both of them were so much better than this fight. I just went in my mind. I went back and watched it in my mind, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it wasn't that close. This and that." Dustin landed some clean, hard shots in that first.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and he was having some success in that fight of hitting clean. He just got clipped right behind the ear.
Yep,
and it dropped him, and then Conor being right on top of him right away and landed some clean shots. But the fight up until that, it was a little bit of back and forth. He had actually hit Conor a couple of times. Conor started talking to him.
He hit Conor with a beautiful straight left about 15 seconds before he got knocked out.
Yeah, you're right.
And you could see that it stung him. You can always tell when a fighter feels it. Mm-hmm. They may walk through it, they may talk, but you can tell that stung him. He's giving me the look. I can see it.
Yeah.
And so, look, Dustin's got the power to put Conor away. Conor's got the power to put Dustin away. It's really how much, in my opinion, how much can Dustin take that fight, just throw it to the side and say, that wasn't even me. That was a different guy. And now I'm a way better fighter, and I'm a way smarter fighter, and I'm going to prove it. So.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now, and it's they don't even look like the same fighters now. When you
well, Dustin's movement really doesn't.
Yeah, Dustin looks so much better. Don't get me wrong, Conor's gotten a lot better as well, but I wouldn't say his gains have been as much as Dustin has. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that I was going to get to that. They're not as much, but there wasn't as much for Conor to have to grow. He just had to get a little bit more tighter with his defense, and he started more pinpoint accuracy is what Conor's developed. Dustin has just tightened everything up. His movement, his leg kicks, his elbows down. Dustin looks like a completely different fighter, a more confident fighter as well.
He definitely has now. Dustin had a ton of movement before, where nothing happened off of it.
Yes.
Now, that movement, every time there's thought behind it, the movement is setting this up. Now I'm setting this up, and he's throwing, and he's offensive, and he makes you defend, which takes away the offense. So now I agree. I think this is a tight fight. It's a good fight. Both guys are, outstanding fighters, and both guys have power in their hands. Both of them have advantage in certain little areas, but this is going to be, I think they're both going to come out and they're going to feel each other out for about 30 seconds. And I think they're going to start throwing. I think it's going to be a fun fight.
It's going to be fun. I think it's going to come down to how well Conor can keep his distance. How well can he keep the distance between the two, of them, and keep Dustin at the end of his punches? Because Conor uses his length and his reach a lot better than Dustin does. But like you said, Dustin now he's learned how to shape his striking off of his movement. And when he's done that, that means he's creating more angles. Punches are coming from different angles. And those may be things that, even though Conor has gotten better, like you had talked about, when you're fighting another southpaw, maybe you don't have a southpaw that moves as good or creates those angles and throws off of those angles as well as Dustin's doing right now. But Conor leading up to, I saw an interview of his just the other day, and he said something about that he plans on fighting a boxing match because another couple boxing matches because he wants to win a world title in boxing, whether he's gonna do it or not. Okay, John, shaking your head no, but
God no.
Whether he's gonna do it or not, that tells me in my mind he's been focusing a lot on boxing in terms of focusing it with other boxing guys, whether really good boxing guys, if he plans on getting to that level. And if that's the case, these little movements that Dustin's making shouldn't be a problem for him to handle. You just got to be careful you don't clip them small gloves. But just honestly, after watching that first fight and then now going back through it in my mind, I'm really excited now, even more so because to see how much both of them have gotten better since that fight. I didn't think in my mind that they had gotten that much better. They were good on the feet. The striking was good, but damn, they're way better now.
Oh yeah.
A lot better now.
Way better.
And I think also too, both of them are fighting at their natural weight.
Yep.
155.
The way better matchup, better weight class for both. Yeah. Dustin matches up size-wise very well with Conor. So
yes.
It's going to be a good fight.